Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we got for you. Visa's in the news. How about a new XRP price formula? $1,754 XRP. I think you're going to want to see this formula. Ripple and the British pound. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Take a look at this right here. Right now, we have $1.07 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 2.1%. Good morning, everybody. 22,700 plus for Bitcoin, Ethereum 1,500 plus. Right now, Tether market cap 66.8 billion, they say. And we see XRP is at 40 cents. We're going to talk about that before we get out of here. But take a look at this. Join us, in Las Vegas. That's right. For the XRP meetup event of a lifetime, a conference, the first ever XRP Army conference. It is going to be amazing. And the reason I can tell you that is because wait till you find out who's coming. So make sure you sign up and get that email in there so we can contact you with more details as soon as we clear it up and lock it in. By the way, if you want a VIP ticket to that live event, you can get it, but you got to join the Digital Perspectives Mastermind group. And you should join the Digital Perspectives Mastermind group because it is truly a mastermind group. You get on-demand classes, private lessons, weekly live streams, full access private Telegram group. This is no joke what's going on in here, ladies and gentlemen. Do not mess around. Make the investment in yourself. You will be glad that you did. Let's get started. Right here, we see Representative Bill Huizenga wasting no time now that the Republicans gained control back in the House, says 100% agree with Hester Peirce and Phil Gramm on the comments they made, saying the SEC has taken on the role of telling companies how to run themselves and investors how to invest. He said, I will lead the Republicans' response to Gary Gensler's incessant desire to exceed his authority. Well, let me tell you, I hope that happens. Okay, and we're not passing out any trophies until we see people actually deliver. This shared right here by Eleanor Terrett. Shout out to her for great reporting here. August edition of Gary Gensler's public calendar has been added to the SEC website. Gensler met for a fifth time with IEX CEO Brad Katsuyama on August 16th. 5 meetings that we know so far in 2022 with a chairman who so say is famously hard to get an appointment with. And FTX had initiated a partnership with IEX to further establish crypto market structure and held a joint meeting with Gensler in March 22. It says unclear yet whether they were any more meetings with Bankman-Fried. And then she posts here the documents here for you. And it says, in addition to Katsuyama meetings, Gary Gensler met with some of Chinese regulators, with U.S. ambassador to China, former Speaker Pelosi, who's got an incredible investment track record, New York Stock Exchange executives, a handful of fund managers. It says Elizabeth Senator Warren, not surprising, and executives of Virtue Financial. Now, listen, I tell you, look, here's what I want to say. I want to add to all of this great tweet, post, thread reporting here by Eleanor. I want to add this. How did FTX get a broker dealer license issued to them, knowing that their books were in a shambles and it would take about 30 seconds to figure out that they were commingling customer funds? And I say here, it sure does look like the country is for sale. We certainly could use that new day is coming that Tom Emmer talked about. When you question Gary Gensler, don't forget to ask him about how FTX got that broker-dealer license. Visa CEO says the company believes stablecoins and CBDCs can play a meaningful role in the payment space. Yeah, remember Currency Cloud was Ripple partner, bought by Visa for $992 million. I'm pretty sure they got their foot planted in the right direction when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution. And Japan's about to do the same thing here as they introduce regulations by June this year that will allow domestic investors to trade certain stablecoins issued overseas. I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it 1,000,001. Stablecoins and stablecoin legislation is going to open up the avenue for trillions of dollars of investment to move into space once we have clarity. Make no mistake about that. UK government is hiring a central bank digital currency lead for Treasury team. Oh, do tell. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. I did too. And basically what they're saying here is they're talking about strategic direction because they're going to be releasing and developing a digital pound. Yeah, they are. It says Her Majesty Treasury and United Kingdom has begun calling for applicants to lead central bank digital currency team behind the efforts towards a digital pound. And this was just said and released. And basically a team of roughly 20 people focused on exploring the potential for the digital pound. We've even had remarks we covered here a few days ago where they said they could be releasing a pound stable coin in the coming weeks. Head on a swivel out here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it gets even better. Because don't forget that Susan Friedman, head of Ripple Policy, is also on the Digital Pound Foundation to be helping out with such a measure. And you know what? And they will be speaking and hosting a panel on Digital Pound for Ripple is hosting. And it won't be just Susan Friedman that's there. It'll also be James Wallace, head of central bank engagement for CBDCs at Ripple. Come on in. Let us not forget that when James Wallace just recently sat down with Thinking Crypto, he expressed to him that this year will be a big year for CBDC news taking place. So lots going on in the near term. This is a very quick clip of just past November here of Susan Friedman right here from Ripple on the UK Treasury Committee talking to them about the benefits and use. Take a listen.
But that's the nature of those isn't purely speculative, it's as an investment thesis.
Susan.
Say the FCA in its consultations recognize that the fact that individuals may speculate in tokens, in unbacked crypto assets, does not detract from the reason for which they were created. And its taxonomy turns on an analysis of, are they an exchange token, are they a utility token, are they a security token? Ripple uses an unbacked crypto asset for cross-border transfers. XRP is specifically designed to help facilitate the transfer of fiat to fiat, stablecoin to stablecoin, etc. And I think as we look at regulations, certainly there needs to be a recognition, and I think everyone has it, that there is speculation. Consumers need to be protected. But there needs to be nuance built in to acknowledge the fact that the tokens, many of these tokens are built, as Tim noted, for specific projects, have specific value propositions, and that is what should be regulated, the business and the risk attached to it.
There you have it right there. I mean, she's sitting right there with the UK Treasury Committee, right? I mean, you can't, does it get any better than that? I mean, look, I think we got an interesting couple years ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt about that. Now, let's take a look at this. Speaking of interesting, shout out to Dark Horse for this, and shout out to Merlin Crypto Future Invest for sharing it. Dark Horse has come up with, and I've had the pleasure to speak to him, he's a very smart guy, and I had great conversations with him a couple different times on TikTok. And I want to share with you him laying out his idea of how to take a valuation or price formula to figure out how you could arrive at a certain XRP price. And he does it through changing the value of the transaction cost. And he makes quite an argument for what he's talking about here. Take a listen here and watch what he does.
And they're going through it every 3.8 seconds. So, I mean, I don't know how much is going through on each one of these without actually inspecting it, but the average transaction fee, which is how much XRP is being burned, is what I'm interested in, right? And as you can see, it's changing all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that value and I'm going to enter it into this. So what I'm saying here is this is the current XRP price. This is the average transaction price. So I'm going to enter what I can see on my screen now, which is 0.0001. total cost per transaction, which is less than 1 cent. And this is how many transactions I can do per XRP. And this is telling me how much XRP is if I times that by that, and that's how much I get as a price. Now, let's predict. Using the same logic, let's put the price of a transaction to 1 cent. Now XRP is worth £17.54. Let's put this down to 50 cents. It's now worth 877. Now let's do the ultimate $1. It's now worth $1,754. Now, that was using the burn rate of an XRP per transaction, and like I said, these values change. As I put in there's 3 zeros. It's changed to now 2 zeros. Going back to that, 3 zeros. It's a good way of looking at this, and let's face it, XRP is not going to make a lot of money. Sorry, Ripple's not going to make a lot of money if they're charging less than 1 cent per transaction. I mean, like I said, Swift charges £5.50 for 1,250 to be sent to Australia. 1 cent made it £17. Do the maths, guys, but it's definitely worth more than 41p, right?
Pretty damn compelling right there, isn't it? And shout out to Dark Horse for that, and Merlin Crypto Future Invest for sharing it. You know, it is something to think about when you think about the idea of what transactions currently cost right now in today's friction-filled world. And they're very expensive. A bank transfer costs $50 or more. And you know what's interesting about that is that you start thinking about bringing it down from 50 to $1. What would that implication be to price? How accurate is that formula? Well, I tell you, I have reached out here to Bob Way and Matt Hamilton, and curious to hear their thoughts on this metric, and we'll see if they actually respond. I just to put this out, but we will keep you up to date and see if we can get their insights on that as well. Now take a look at this, because this is Egg Rag Crypto before we get out of here. Is a XRP pump similar to dump update? He says tick tock, and then boom. And what he's showing us here, if we don't see Jerome Powell pull a rug pull, is he's showing us here like what you see in a fractal that we've seen play out before in history, and where we currently are, and saying basically the breakout, and then if we retest, whether we come down and retest this line here, that may set us up for the rest of this fractal to play out, just as we've seen a very similar story from before. We don't know. It's not a guarantee, but if it's not that, then it's going to be a dump. And if it's a dump, I'm going to fill my bags, because the truth is, for me, and it's not financial advice, obviously, for me or anyone else, but obviously, if it dumps, I still believe in what's happening here. And ultimately, it is the ruling of this case that is going to provide an enormous amount of direction for where Ripple and XRP will go. And they are already taking off around the rest of the world. So I am excited to see what happens in the very near term. Think about this. We're getting ready to roll into February. And if James K. Filan is right, sometime inside of 2 months, we may actually get that ruling on the SEC versus Ripple and XRP. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.